Welcome to this week's episode of Gray Roots. We are so excited that you're here. So, over the next 3 weeks, we are going to be doing something kind of different, but we really want you to know our stories. We want you to know who's having these conversations with you because, again, our stories make us who we are. And so we think it's important. So, today, Kari is going to kind of be taking you through Alicia's story, and Alicia's going to be talking about her story, and we're going to all sit back and enjoy that ride, including me. I'm going to, even though I know most of her story, I'm going to enjoy this. So I am going to turn it over to you, Kari. And so we all get to know Alecia. So glad you're here.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What a privilege to be introducing you all to my dear friend Alecia. I love her. She's amazing. And so we met, just real quick, our story. We met back when we were pregnant with our third children,
Yeah.
Alecia.
Yep.
Right. And so also what attracted me to Alecia was the fact that we were not afraid to go out for a run, come back, nurse our babies, go back out for a run, and just kindred spirits in that way. I just love this girl. Alecia, why don't you tell us how your stories about how you remember meeting each of us?
Okay, so this is a little embarrassing, but Kari, I remember meeting you. We were Jeff and I were going to a church that we were relatively new in. We moved to the area in August, and this was maybe like December because I was pregnant, and so were you. And you came in with Kurt, and we were all trying to figure out if you were his daughter. Because you looked so young.
Yes, I
And he had
remember that.
all this gray hair, and we're like, I don't know, they're holding hands.
This is weird.
Maybe they're confused. But anyway, so that's how I remember initially meeting you the very first time. Which is kind of funny. And then Kathy, same church, I was in a women's Bible study. And one of the girls who was in that was very good friends with Kathy and had invited her to come and check it out and join. And I just remember she just filled the room. She had this amazing personality. I was immediately drawn to her. She had this 4-year-old little boy that she had adopted and a brand new little baby in a stroller, like a little bassinet baby stroller that she had also just adopted, Gracie, I believe. And yeah, and that's how we met. And the more our paths crossed, the more I was just really drawn to you guys. Just for various reasons. Just full disclosure, I do not identify as a runner, though, Kari. I was really just, I just really
You
wanted
are.
to hang out with you. I am not a runner. I do not enjoy running. I wanted to hang out with you, and you're like, yeah, well, let's just do an easy 4 miles. I'm like, I've been running to the end of my driveway and back. I mean, I exercised, but running's different. We got to like 3 miles. I'm like, I think I popped a hip. It's probably fine. Let's just walk the rest.
Well, I appreciate you coming out anyway. Kathy, what is your first memory of Alecia? Or do you have a funny story about her?
I actually remember Alicia's boys initially. That was my first impression, are these blonde, wild,
Great.
lovely wild. Now listen, you got to know about me though. The wilder, the better. Like I am drawn to the wild kids. And so I remember thinking, number one, I thought she looked like she should be a movie star, right? I was so struck by just how beautiful she was. And then she had these wild things. I just remember thinking, this girl is fun because those boys are crazy. So we're going to need to hook up.
Yes.
That was my first, it was at that same Bible study, but that was my impression, was meeting her boys. Oh, I can just still remember them.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. And it amazes me how you can remember things like that from so long ago. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. So yeah, let's get into it a little bit. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey of becoming a mother?
Wow. So I kind of got a jump start. I got pregnant in high school, my senior year. I don't know that anybody plans to get pregnant in high school, but that was definitely not on my life plan of things to do. I was a very good girl. I had great grades. I had some scholarships for academics and swimming. And I met this really cute guy, and he was really sweet to me. And yada, yada, yada. A year after our first date, we got married. I was 4 months pregnant. And off we went. He decided to go into the Army full time because he had already been doing National Guard in high school. And yeah, we went to he went to war. We went to Germany. We went kind of all over. And that's kind of how we got our start, like 34 years ago.
Can you talk a little bit more about that and what your feelings were around getting pregnant in high school and how did you navigate that?
My gosh, I think the biggest thing that I felt was I was so alone because I was surrounded by a lot of, I almost hate to say Christian friends. I had some friends that were believers, but I definitely had, I mean, the people that I went to church with, the adults that were there, even adults that were in my life, like with school. I was like your 4.0 student that did what she was supposed to. I got detention because I was late, which my mother will totally understand because I have a hard time being on time for anything.
Really?
It is real, y'all. It is so real. But I'm a work in progress. That was like my bad girl detention. I couldn't get to class on time. I was probably talking.
Listen, we've almost put you in detention a few times for being bad girl late.
The car wash, right?
The car wash.
So yeah, it was very lonely. I was very scared. I didn't know anyone in my circle who had experienced that I knew people, but they were not people that I was hanging out with, people even that I would feel comfortable reaching out to say, oh my gosh, hey, like, what can I do? What do I like? I had no idea. Which I was very, very, very scared and alone through that process. Now, fortunately, because I was such an overachiever, I had enough credits to graduate a whole semester early. So I just went into school and withdrew myself and said, nope, I'm just going to graduate with what I've got. So got finite credits. I don't need the physics class that's making me do math. I don't need the extra typing elective. Graduated early and got a job as a nanny and off I went.
If you haven't picked up already, Alecia is a very driven person. So, Alecia, tell us about your kids now and how old they are.
So we have 3 boys. Our oldest, Andrew, is 34. Our middle son, Hunter, is 29. And our youngest, yes, I still call him the baby. Yes, the rest of the family agrees that we still treat him like a baby. Spencer is 26.
So tell us a little bit about that, like Kathy was talking about your boys. And I remember them just being, the same, running around. And I loved it. I had 4 boys of my own. And for them just to all come and just be together, just be in the mud and, being rough and tumble guys.
I remember your house being one of the places that I felt the most safe bringing my boys.
Wow.
Which almost catch up snip a little bit, but yeah, they were hard. I did not have these little buttoned up, they were like hell on wheels. The middle one, not as much, but once he hit like high school, college, he like fully came into himself and off like the rest of them. Had to kind of find himself, but yeah, they were so hard.
So you talked about just being pregnant in high school and how lonely that was. So having these boys that are, crazy and loud and being just boys and do what boys do, what was that like as a mom? Did you feel alone in that, or did you, how do you navigate that?
I did. And unfortunately, like, you were talking about finding your tribe. I don't really feel like during those years, even like all the years, I didn't really have a good tribe. Even though we were friends, we weren't in Kari, I know you and I were in a kind of a couples family small group for a little while, but even with some of that, I just felt like people couldn't handle my boys. And I tried so hard to discipline them well and the way that I felt they should be and be respectful. And, they all are now. But in the thick of it, I remember picking Spencer up from his little Sunday school preschool class and the teacher, director coming to me and saying, well, Spencer got in trouble in circle time. So they put him in the corner against the wall and he decided to peel all of the wallpaper off the wall. So you're going to have to pay to replace the paper. And I just wanted to cry. I'm like, he was 3.
Yeah.
He probably had some sensory issues that you just didn't know. He was probably a sensory seeker because my little John Michael would peel paint in the corners and he loved to pick sensory.
Yeah.
See? How
I
do we
think he
know?
definitely, I mean, looking back, sensory stuff just, I don't remember it being a thing that we would learn about back then.
Mhm.
I definitely think that my kids all have some sensory stuff. Even my oldest son now, like, he hates putting lotion on. And he had eczema, so I was constantly trying to put lotion on his face, and he had like a little cracked lip. I would try to put the Carmex on there, and even to this day, his wife is like, just put the lotion. Like, he hates sunscreen, anything on his hands like that, he hates it. I'm like, maybe you did have sensory stuff. I wish I would have known that previously. But yeah, they were just, I felt kind of alone with that too. Jeff and I were kind of in the boat together with these crazy, wild boys. And they just kind of got wilder as they went down the rack, right? Spencer was, oh my gosh, I remember he 3 years old again. We were at a baseball park, and I couldn't find him. He was always missing. Even in church, they were so glad he was my third, because we would go to pick him up and be like, so we're looking for him. Here's where we've looked. Right? They would assign one person in particular to him, because he would just escape. He was like this little Houdini, under the gate, over the gate, through the door, wherever. We were at baseball park diamond for our oldest son Andrew, doing baseball stuff, and all of a sudden I looked and I couldn't find him. And I'm looking everywhere, calling his name. All of a sudden I hear, "Mom, Spidey!" And this kid is all the way at the top of the baseball backdrop, to where it goes all the way up and then angles behind the catcher's behind home plate.
Jeez.
And he's hanging on with his two legs and one arm, and the other arm to wave to me, to tell me, "Hi, Mom. Look, I'm Spidey. I'm up here." I didn't know whether to kill him or catch him or what, but that was pretty much my life for about 25 years.
So you mentioned you and Jeff. You said you and Jeff together, and I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be my next question. Is, so you guys got married really young, and you know, now here you have these kind of beautiful, rambunctious boys. How did you guys, as a couple, grow together, grow individually, because you were almost children when you got married, but then also growing through these, you know, these times of raising kids together? Like, how did you guys navigate that?
You know, when they were younger, we were definitely always a team, which is interesting to me, because we weren't always a team about other things, but we were always on the same page. As they got older, we had this boundary that our oldest son was very much a prodigal child for about 7 years, from about 14 until 21. And decisions we made then were, whoever wants to do the least amount, we go with that. So let's say Andrew did something and Jeff was saying, "We're going to kick him out." And I'm like, I think maybe let's just take the phone away. We would take the phone away, right? Whatever was the lesser, which one of us would be okay with, the other one was okay. Like, okay, I'll meet you where you are. We're not there yet. So that was super helpful. And even just like our relationship, Jeff was really so good when they were young. I mean, as you guys know, it's exhausting raising kids, especially wild ones. I don't know what it's like to not have wild ones, but I'm assuming it's less exhausting because you're not chasing as much. But yeah, I would have all these boys. He would come home. I would kind of have dinner, either going or made or whatever, nursing the baby, wiping a toddler's butt, trying to help with Spanish homework, all the things. After dinner, he would clean everything up. I would go kind of tend to whoever needed to get, you know, stuff done to kind of wrap that up. And then he would say, "Okay, I've drawn a bath for you." He would get a bubble bath ready for me after dinner. He would maybe light some candles in there, because he knows I'm a candle freak. And he would let me, he's like, "Just go relax. Go get a bath. I'm sure you haven't showered yet today." He said that in kind of a nice way, but also in a way like I really hadn't had a shower yet that day. And then he would bathe the kids, put their pajamas on, and then I would meet him back in the room, and we would kiss him goodnight, say the prayers, whatever. And that was huge. And then by 8:00, I'm like, wow, I feel like a new woman. It was like, how are you so lucky with your wife? He's like, because I give her a bath and take care of the kids for the rest of the night, because she's been doing it for the other 8 hours.
So how long have you guys been married now?
It was 34 years in April. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, 34 years. And what's maybe one piece of advice or something that you would, like you said, being on the same team, that's huge and that's really important. What's something else that you feel like has really helped you guys be? And I watched you, what, 2 days ago. You guys are so cute. I know it's not easy. It's hard, but you guys are so cute still.
Oh, thank you. You mean advice as far as relationship advice, as far
Or
as
just something from your relationship that you guys have done or that's been a part of your relationship to get you where you are today.
I love this question. I do. And honestly, we get at, like, if we go to weddings and stuff, we kind of get approached and asked this when people realize we've been married for 34 years, and the fact that we got married when we were 17 and 19, which when my kids got to that age, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, no wonder my
Right.
mom was freaking out. I don't enough to get married and have babies. So one thing that we always tell people is, with anything else in life, when you can't figure out how to do it, or it's not your profession, you go get help, right?
Mm,
If you don't know how to put makeup on, you'll go find somebody that knows how to put makeup on. Say, hey, can you show me how to put makeup on? Right. And I feel like relationships, for some reason, people don't want to go get help to figure out how
mm,
to effectively be in that relationship. So that's one thing we tell people. Look, try and work things out. And when you get to where you're at a standstill and you can't figure it out, go get help. Don't be afraid to go invite someone else in and allow them to give you feedback that you can work on. And it's not easy, but it's not supposed to be easy.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I love
the
that.
other thing that we did along the years, and especially when the kids were at the house and younger, is we would have what I called quarterly overnights. And there were some rules to that. But it was kind of epic in keeping our relationship fresh and new, and just being able to connect. Because when those kids are little, I feel like you're just in survival mode. You're just trying to not
Mhm.
like let the kids put your hair on fire. They did actually set the sidewalk
Literally.
on fire once.
Yeah,
But
literally.
fine, that's a story for another day, right? That's my three crazy boys. But
So
so
is that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, that's okay. We would have quarterly overnights, and so the goal was 4 times a year we would do this. Now, I say that we were lucky if we got 2, but if we didn't shoot for 4, we wouldn't have had any. So quarterly overnights, it has to be overnight. It can't be in the house. It can't be with anybody else. And like no kids allowed. So one time we went to the Super 8. He was in the military, and he had drill the next morning that he had to go to at like 6 o'clock. And we're like, okay, let's just go drive to a Super 8 right down the road from where your drill is. We'll spend the night, and then you can go off on your drill. That counts. We also went to Charleston for a weekend once. That totally counts. But even like those small little
Yeah.
things that you're doing just with each other, no kids, it can't be at home. It can't be everybody leaves the house, because there's just too much going on there, especially for me. Jeff probably would have been fine
For
with
sure.
it, but for me, I can't turn my brain off of all the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that really, really was beneficial for us.
Great. And knowing you for this long and that's such a great example that I've noticed that you guys are so intentional. You're intentional
Mhm.
with your marriage, you're intentional with your kids, and even admitting that
Right.
we need help, counseling. It's just being so intentional.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's switch gears to grandchildren. Talk about your first grandchild and what that was like having your first one for just a second, and then we'll move on to the rest.
Okay. Gosh, well, everybody told me like the first one is like, it's amazing. All of them are amazing, but yeah, so our first grandchild was a girl. And after having 3 crazy boys, I was just beside myself. Love that little girl. It was so exciting. My daughter-in-law did something that was very unusual, I think. I don't know that I would have done this, but she invited me in
Mm.
to have the baby with her. So she
Wow.
invited her mother and me, and then my son Andrew. So we were all there in the room when she was in most of her labor, or at least the end part, and then while she was giving birth. And for me, that was such an honor. I could not believe that she was doing that. And that just spoke volumes to me. I
Mhm.
was just so blessed by that. I know some of y'all are probably thinking like, there is no way I'm having my mother in that room with me. And it, you know, everybody's spent different walks, but that was really cool. And all the clothes, spent so much money on clothes for that girl. And it didn't really even matter that I knew she was going to outgrow it in 2 weeks because I hadn't had a chance to buy girl clothes
Yeah.
my life. So just bought them all.
Oh,
She
that's
needs a
sweet of them.
unicorn. Yeah, she needs a unicorn. I should go get one.
Yeah. Okay, so how many grandchildren do you have now total?
We have got 4. We have a brand new one that was born the end of May. So he made number 4. We've still got my granddaughter Elise, who is 6 now, and then her brother Jack is almost 4. Their cousin, our youngest son, the one that climbed up the baseball backstop, he has an almost 3-year-old, and then that new little baby of boys.
So sweet.
One girl and 3 boys.
So I don't think we've mentioned yet about swimming and how you were a swimmer, and then now you taught my kids to swim. Kath, I don't know if she taught your kids to
Yeah,
swim.
all my kids.
Taught your kids to
Yep.
swim,
Yep.
and now you have this swim company that, or you know, thing that you teach people all across Forsyth County to swim. And so you and I one day we both had, you know, granddaughters, and hey, let's meet at the pool.
Yeah, that was so
How
fun.
old were they? Like 3?
Months apart.
Yeah, they're only a couple months apart. They're like 3 years old or something. And so we meet at the pool. And here's Alicia's granddad, diving down to the bottom, getting something off the bottom of the pool. And my granddaughter, who's not around swimming, you know, they didn't have a pool. So she was like, oh, no. I don't want the water on my face. Like, I just don't want water on my face. And she's just in awe of watching Elise, just this fish swimming at 3 years old. It was amazing. Did you teach her that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also getting in your Jeep, and you've got 2 car seats and you got 2 Jeep
Yeah.
hats for your grandchildren. I mean, so cool.
Yeah.
What an amazing grandma you are. So what is
I
one of
wanna
your favorite
brag.
things? Go ahead, Kath.
Oh, sorry. I just want to brag on your swimming. The other day I was looking at videos and I saw a video of my daughter Sarah with one of my granddaughters. And she was trying to teach her to swim, and she was using all the tricks that she had learned from Alecia, and it was the sweetest thing ever. So you don't even know you have a legacy in that as well. Is that, you know, Sarah was using everything she learned from you, and I'm watching her and I'm like, this is the cutest thing ever. And my granddaughter is picking it up. That's all from you. So pretty
That's
fun
cool.
to do
That's
that too.
cool.
Yeah.
You are a legend in our families.
Thank you.
For sure.
So what's one of your favorite things to do with your grandchildren?
Go to the pool. Go to
Okay.
the pool.
Of course.
Yeah, I love it.
Water
love it.
park, or we haven't been to the lake boating yet, but we have been down to the
Come
Keys.
to the lake. Come to the lake.
Yes, my what was I saying? Dang it, man! Oh, my dad lives down in the Keys, and so we used to take our boys to go visit over the summer, and so we've been a couple of summers with the kids to go visit him, and it's
Fun.
I just love the ocean. We've taken them on a boat and just all the things. That is probably my favorite thing to do with them. Is
Well, we joked that you are actually a mermaid. So
I am.
Yes.
you are a
You are.
mermaid.
A mermaid with legs.
Okay, Alecia. So we're going to be wrapping it up in just a second. What has been one of the hardest seasons of your life so far that you would like to share with us?
So probably I would say the hardest season so far that I have experienced is when our oldest son Andrew was our prodigal child. That was for about, like I said, it was about 7 years, and just not knowing how everything was going to end. I think everything in life, that's the kicker, right? You're like, you can survive it if you know how it's going to end, right? But you don't know how it's going to end when you're in the middle of it. And just kind of being able to hang on to that was really tough. He was making bad choices for himself, bad choices that affected the rest of our family. We had reached out for professional. I mean, you know, it's like, okay, we don't know what to do. And a lot of it, I just felt like, oh my gosh, I was too young to have this baby. What was I thinking? You know, I think you just listen to all those lies in your head. You're a bad mom. You did this. You made him, you know, tie his shoes this way and made him make the bed. You know, maybe you shouldn't have done all this. So we reached out for help, and just just trying to navigate through that whole thing and watching. They say that a little boy is, the mom's heart is just the mom's heart walking around on the planet for the rest of your life. That's where your heart is. And it's true. And just like every morning waking up thinking, are the police going to come today and tell me he's dead? Is this going to be the day where this is the end? This is how it ends. And that was difficult. Also, back to the tribe thing, not really having a great tribe. And when you're in situations where you have a prodigal child, I think people tend to look at the child and think, oh, well, that's because you were doing this, or you were too young, or you were too old, or you were too strict, or you were too permissive. You gave him too much church. You didn't give him enough Jesus. And it's you kind of get ostracized by it.
That's
I
hard.
kind of felt like a leper. It's like all of a sudden, like all these friends that we have just kind of scattered like cockroaches. And it's part of it's because they don't really understand what to do or how to do, how all that works. But yeah, that was probably the most difficult thing that I've experienced so far.
Wow.
And now he is an amazing, amazing man. I am like just so proud of the man that he is. And I know that the reason he is the man that he is because of what he walked through in his story. So yeah, it was worth it for sure.
Wow. I have to think that maybe there's somebody out there that has resonated with your story in whatever part, in some way and somehow. And so if you're out there and, you have questions for Alecia, or you want to reach out and ask her about something that she's talked about, go ahead and send us a DM on Instagram, Grey Roots Podcast.
Yeah.
I would
Thank you, Alecia, for being vulnerable. And over the next few weeks, we're going to listen to Kathy's story. I'm going to share my story, and just look forward to for y'all to get to know us better that way in the future. When we're talking about our certain situations or something, you can go back and say, oh, this is what their story was. So Kathy, you want to go ahead and close us out?
Yeah, just thank you, Alecia. Your story is a powerful one. Like, every time I hear it, I'm just amazed at you. And you are someone I have looked up to for so many years. And it's such an honor that you're on this journey with us doing this podcast. So we're excited. Glad you guys were here with us. Thanks so much for listening.